works, okay? Now, here's Laura Ingraham explaining, and this is internal Republican polls, and Mark Mitchell was up there 8 months ago. They saw him on the show. They called him up to the White House trying to convince Trump not to go to war, as he was talking about it then, and to talk about domestic stuff and not meet with Larry Ellison and all the billionaires and, get back to populist stuff. And he didn't listen. And now they've got more internal polls, and they know that it is going to be devastation in the midterms because there's already so much election fraud that hasn't been reversed and fixed. So you got to have a landslide to win, and we're not going to get the landslide. I would say it's going to be a moderate Republican victory. They would keep the House and Senate, but not gain many seats. But now I predict we're going to lose the House and Senate on current trajectory. And I predict this war is still going when the midterms are here because the Iranians are not going to open the Strait of Hormuz. And again, we've seen Secretary of State, all of them saying we got to get back to where we were when the strait was open. Well, it's closed because Israel attacked on the 28th, and we joined them hours later in the morning of March 1st. And here we are 144 days later in that disaster, which kills the Trump recovery, which kills the world economy, which causes mass starvation with the fertilizer cutoff from Ukraine and the Middle East to Africa and other countries, giant migrant flows. They want the Great Reset. That's what the carbon taxes and the Paris Accord that Trump pulled out of did. So important, saving billions of people in the aggregate. They were going to cut half the carbon use in the world. Studies show that would kill at least 2 billion people over the next decade. So that's a great thing Trump did. But now it's all being mitigated by this inflation and the energy being cut off and the fertilizers being cut off. Yeah, there's the Washington Post. It's true. U.S. teeters on all-out war with Iran after more troops are killed. And the point is that's because Trump is going to continue to double down in face saving instead of getting an off-ramp. And as I predicted, the mullahs want their reparations and they want our troops out. And Trump's not going to do that. And I don't think he could reasonably even do that. And so it's going to continue in a war of attrition. So here's Laura Ingraham, and then it goes right into J.D. Vance on Joe Rogan last week explaining Israel is ultra unpopular, but Israel doesn't care because it is self-contained and has nuclear weapons. And they don't care if we go bankrupt because up the chain, Israel is controlled by BlackRock and the Rothschilds that created Israel. Isn't that sick? So they get us and they get the Islamists at the same time, and we do all their dirty work, and then their ministers laugh on TV about it. We have those clips coming up. But first, here's Laura Ingraham, sounding the alarm, and J.D. Vance. Tell them like it is.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. And with the midterm elections a little more than 100 days away, the clock is ticking for President Trump to get out of this war before voters head to the polls. It's making a lot of Republicans nervous. It's already, as we know, unpopular. According to the new Washington Post Ipsos poll, 69% of Americans disapprove of the handling of this conflict. Yep. Republicans cannot let this become an endless distraction, especially if they want to win in November. Here to discuss.
Israel is losing.
Yeah, but it's already too late for that, though. I mean, trust me, everybody's going to focus on the Iran war when it affects how much they pay at the pump and how much they pay at the grocery store. So, sorry, if this war doesn't get concluded but before midterms, I mean, things are looking pretty bleak for Republicans. Things are already looking bad for you guys already. So the fact that this war is still continuing, I mean, like, y'all just trying to throw away the midterms at this point.
The public opinion battle in the United States of America. It is a simple and obvious fact. Donald Trump has said that publicly. It's a simple and obvious fact.
Why do you think that is?
Why is Israel losing? Why is Israel losing American public opinion?
Well, the narrative is that Israel has a very disproportionate effect on American politics.
Yeah, I see that. I see that narrative. I mean, I actually think that they look, do they try to influence American politics? Yes. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's a country of 9 million people. We have 330 million people. And so, of course, they're going to try to persuade Americans. They're going to try to move Americans in one direction or another. I think that's just the nature of the beast.
But it's more than that. The concern is that they're spying on American politicians, that there's concerns about funding. There's concerns about influence. There's concerns about whether or not politicians are, whether they're aligned with Israel or whether they're aligned with the United States first.
Now, here's Beelzebub, Bezalel Smotrich, their finance minister, and it's in Hebrew, but there's subtitles, saying America fighting Iran, the chaos, what's going on. This is ideal for us. And they've said they want Trump with a ground invasion, but they're not going to send troops. But then that dovetails with Mark Levin saying, you've got to stand with the Israeli military. You mean we got to fight and die while they sit there and do nothing and laugh at us? So here's the finance minister.
Now, what was killing me was Jesse Waters pretty much bragging about, oh, yeah, America's going to come in. We're going to train insurgencies against Hezbollah. And I'm just like, oh, yeah. And we could just go ahead and let Israel take a break. I'm like, are you serious? Hold on. So you want us to go in there and get involved with it in Lebanon to try to take out Hezbollah? And when Israel's the one who started all this, Israel's the one who attacked Hezbollah first. Let them handle it. Why are we trying to get involved in Lebanon to take out Hezbollah? It's like, no, like Hezbollah wasn't doing anything before Israel attacked them. Sadly, just like Iran.
הזהות של עם ישראל, של מדינת ישראל. וזה עובד לשני הכיוונים. התוצאות של המלחמה נקבעות ויקבעו בעזרת השם.
The ideology of the Iranian Islamist regime is based on the belief that Allah compels the annihilation of the West, and that dying in service of Allah is martyrdom. Mutual.
I mean, let's be real. When the Quran was written, there was no really conception of, you know, the whole conception of the West or Western values wasn't invented yet. But okay.
On the belief.
But I mean, the Shia Muslims, though, they do definitely believe in, you know, dying in service of your country or in God is, you know, considered the highest honor. Considers my bad, the highest honor. I said the highest martyrdom.
That Allah compels the annihilation of the West, and that dying in service of Allah is martyrdom. Mutual assured destruction is not a deterrence. So how do we eliminate the regime? Well, there's some things we haven't tried for some reason. First, rather than pushing away Israel, we didn't push away Thatcher, we didn't push away Churchill. Rather than pushing away Israel and Netanyahu, we should embrace their military. We should embrace their intelligence expertise in the region, as we did early in this war.
I'm sorry, but we should not embrace them starting wars. Like, they literally started this conflict with Hezbollah, and now they're asking us to clean it up, clean up the mess that they refused to, clean up the mess that they started, that they refused to clean themselves. It's like, that's kind of crazy how y'all started this little conflict with Lebanon, and now y'all can't finish it because y'all losing too much soldiers on y'all on-ground invasion of Lebanon. Kick rocks. No, go finish the job like y'all tell us.
Regardless of what the Arab states,
hey, yo, Gaiman, what's going on, brother?
And Turkey and Pakistan think or what they want, it is in our national security interest to end the Iranian regime as fast as we can, period. Just as Reagan worked with Thatcher, we must continue to work with Netanyahu. He is a strength. He is a strength.
של הנשיא טראמפ על מצרי הורמוז, צריך לזכור, באיראן יש כרגע אינפלציה של 85%. אני אגיד ככה, כרגע למדינת ישראל אין אינטרס להצטרף למערכה. המצב הנוכחי שבה יש מערכה מתוחמת בין איראן לארצות הברית הוא הנכון והטוב ביותר לנו. צריך לזכור שמטרת העל שלנו במערכה, וזה לאו דווקא משותף עם ארצות הברית, זה לערער.
We're going to come back and I'm going to read this in English with the subtitles for radio listeners. Stay with us. We'll be right back. America is now 200.
They just said it out loud. They said, all right, we wanted to stabilize the regime. Like, it doesn't matter if the U.S. is at risk. You know what? We just need to go ahead and destabilize that regime no matter what. It's an existential threat against Israel. It cannot exist. And I'm just like, Israel, if that's how you feel, then why don't you go do it yourself?
And then get into all.
It must not be that big of a threat if y'all have not been willing to do it yourselves. By yourselves.
This other news, because we got Victor Boot popping in. He'll get into that and the latest developments in Russia and so much more. But the threat escalation ladder has jumped to the next level. It's going into full-on ground invasion. They're talking about using nukes. It's cratering the world economy. The Pentagon's out of money, despite getting $500 million supplemental packages. This is a disaster. And then we've got Ben Gravir, and we've got Smotrich and all these other ministers in Netanyahu's government sitting back talking about how great all this is, only thinking about their own interest, as if the rest of the world doesn't affect them, which is stupid. It will affect them. It does affect them. But Israel's committed to this belligerent, megalomaniacal Greater Israel project, and they're committed to trying to take over our military and the Defense Authorization Act. They're committed to primarying whoever doesn't step and fetch it. And Israel now has put itself front and center as the villain and has even eclipsed communist China as the main threat when it comes to espionage against our country. And I told you that months and months ago, and now even the Defense Intelligence Agency came out and said that about 5 weeks ago. So it's just a fact. And Israel's like, you bet we run your country. Now take it.
I'm sorry, but like, you got to be doing some real spying to be more of a threat than China. China literally makes sure they send over their guys over here, make sure they send spies over here. So I'm sorry, but if you're more of a spy threat or an intelligence threat than China, oh yeah, you doing some real bullshit in the back end right there. Yeah, you doing some real fuckery, my friend. Ain't no way. And yeah, Israel is pretty much, well, our biggest intelligence threat. Shout out to the Pentagon. And that's kind of wild to sit there and say, it's like, over China? Over Russia? Yep, over them.
Absolutely.
And that's our ally. And that's our greatest ally, by the way, is our biggest intelligence threat.
Insane. So he's reading this, he's saying this in Hebrew on national television, but I'm going to try to read the subtitles. Go ahead and read Jezebel Smotrich. I'm sorry, Beelzebub Smotrich. That's not his name. It's Bezali Smotrich, his real name. Let's go ahead and roll it. Israel has no interest in joining U.S. war on Iran. I say that when it comes to state of Israel, we have no interest in joining the current situation where there is confined campaign between Iran and the United States. It is correct and best for us. We need to remember that our objective in the campaign, and this is not necessarily with the U.S., is to destabilize, weaken to the point of overthrowing the regime. We cannot come to terms with the existence of a regime that strives to destroy the state of Israel openly, take steps in that direction. The best way right now to bring down the regime is economically, simply to crush it economically. In this sense, the campaign and the renewal of President Trump's siege the Strait of Hormuz should be remembered in Iran. Therefore, the current situation is good for us, and we have no interest in pushing ourselves. Stop it, back it up. So I don't want to get it wrong.
Huh.
Back it up a few more.
That is wild.
And we have no...
It's like, it's you see how he argues like, oh, this is such an existential threat to Israel. This is something that Israel must get done, but Israel does not want to put no firepower towards it whatsoever. It's all on the United States. Like, imagine how much, pull you got to have in a government to have that much confidence where you're just like, oh, yeah, don't worry. The United States will handle it for us. No problem. They'll be good goy and they'll handle it. Apparently we are.
Interest in pushing ourselves in. It must be said that we are prepared, and incidentally, after yesterday's decision, for any scenario, the military is ready. And if the Iranians make the mistake and fire at us, then of course they will regret it and will face a very strong, determined, and powerful response. I mean, wow. Absolutely insane. They start the war. Netanyahu brags about it. Secretary of State says, no, they drug us in. And he says, keeping the strait closed hurts Iran. So we like it, even though it hurts all the other countries in the world, the U.S., you name it. Israel just doesn't care. The selfishness, the arrogance of this. And then you have the ADL head 2 months ago saying we're going to censor and debank and attack anybody that says Israel drug the U.S. into this war. And then Netanyahu 2 weeks ago bragged on Israeli TV in Hebrew, we played the clips, that he drug us into Midnight Hammer.
Come on,
last June, and he drug us into...
Nah, that's so hilarious, though. It's like, come on. Come on, MAGA. Die for Israel. Go out, come on. Come on. Accept higher gas prices, guys. Do it for Israel. Do it for the Jewish Holy Land, guys. You freaking goy. Okay, I'm done.
To this disaster. And so we are now literally fighting and going bankrupt and dying for a bunch of indicted war criminals and psychos that created Hamas, funded Hamas, stood down for Hamas, and then say, oh, look at October 7th. We're allowed to blow up all the Christians. We're allowed to take Lebanon. We're allowed to burn the whole country. And then Trump today says to the Lebanese president, don't worry, we're going to get Israel out of there and get your country stabilized. Though he said a few days ago, I might send in Al-Qaeda, though, to clean up things, murder the Christians. But Trump to the president's being friendly, and Ben Gvir comes out and says, we're not putting up with that, and we're at least keeping southern Lebanon.
Yeah.
And they're already preparing to move.
I'll give Alex Jones this. At least he actually cares about the brown Christians. Like usually we don't like to talk about the Christians in Lebanon or the ones in Gaza that Israel's been recklessly bombing because they're brown. I mean, apparently, we don't care about brown Christians here in America, sadly.
Settlements in there. I don't want Israel to be the top story every day. We got a lot of fish to fry.
Well, no, let me rephrase that. If Israel is bombing brown Christians, we don't care.
And a lot of big news.
Any other country, though, we're on their ass. But if it's Israel, we got to shut the fuck up, apparently.
But this is out of control. Iran's been given every opportunity to negotiate to show that they're responsible in the Strait of Hormuz. But if they're going to shoot at commercial shipping, then we're going to hit them 10 times harder every night. We've degraded them further and further. Okay. In fact, I want to play Hegseth in a moment, but let's get that clip ready. And also the other one where Trump's telling the president, oh, yeah, we're going to get Israel to leave. And Israel says, no, we're not. I thought Iran didn't have any missiles left, according to Trump in all those speeches. The Pentagon said they got over 70% of their missiles left, and they're making more. And then here's Hegseth, who I don't want to sit here and attack. I like Hegseth. I don't think he's a bad person. I think he, means well in what he's doing. But he's made a terrible mistake. And Trump's made a terrible mistake. And he's going, oh, we degrade them more every day. The Strait of Hormuz is a giant armed camp of mountains and hills. And all they need is low-tech missiles and artillery that you can't stop at close range to sink commercial ships. Now, the low-tech stuff might not be able to take out an aircraft carrier or a missile cruiser because they've got all the anti-missile guns and missiles, but they can take out any of those ships they want. And they've said, if you come in there, we're going to blow you up. When ships try to run the U.S. blockade, we sink them. So we're in a war here. And so Trump always gives the same speech. Oh, we've put their ships at the bottom. Oh, we blew up lots of their stuff. Yeah, we've dropped, 50,000 bombs or so on them? Vietnamese, 7.6 million? Did they lose? U.S. soldiers killed by Iran were from Texas, Hawaii, military says. Okay, let's go ahead and go to Hegseth, and then I'm going to go to Joe Kent, the former head of counterterrorism, who resigned 2 weeks into the war and predicted what was going to happen because he had the Pentagon report. He was citing that. He still called a traitor and a piece of crap for being right as the disaster.
Now, what killed me was this kind of let me know that MAGA was a little too brainwashed. It was like, hold on. So a guy who literally an ex-soldier, literally ex-CIA, did special operations, actually worked to go against these very terrorist groups that we're fighting now. And you guys are keeping him out of the briefings. Oh, and because he's telling you the real, now he's the traitor. And now he's just, oh, well, he's supposed to work at the service of the president. It's like, so he's just supposed to go along with the fuckery then. That's pretty much what you're saying. You just want, because it's Trump, all you guys want is yes men, pretty much. But you were expecting Biden's cabinet to keep it real. All right. Okay. Whatever.
It gets worse and worse as the black hole gets worse and worse around us. But first, let's go to Hegseth saying, oh, we'll just bomb them 10 times harder. Great. And Israel couldn't be happier because while we're doing that, they're grabbing Lebanon and Syria and all the rest of it. And they're like, oh, great, this is hurting Iran. This is destroying their economy. Great. And they'll hold on a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Trump said, hey, it may last 19 years like Vietnam. Of course, Vietnam wasn't 19 years. It was 11, but okay, whatever. Who needs to know a history of war when you quote it? And again, this is just an untenable situation. And while we're distracted with this and lose the midterms over this, we got the Democrat socialists surging and anti-ICE riots everywhere and Muslims running around declaring victory over us. And they've got all the drag queen story times coming back and all the leftist evil. This is so sick. But, Levin says instead of pushing away Israel, Netanyahu embrace their military while they sit back and laugh that this is a perfect situation.
Yeah, for
where
them.
America does our dirty work at the expense of America and all the rest of the world, and we don't care. I mean, why do they talk like that in public? I mean, much less behind the scenes. There's no need to catch the Israelis on secret recordings, but they just say it all out in the open. At least the ones running it are crazy. Disgusting.
I mean, that's what you got to like about them, though. It's like they just say it out in the open while, mainstream media here try to call you anti-Semitic and try to say you don't know what you're talking about. You just hate Jews. Then you got, Israelis, aka Jews, out there pretty much saying it out loud. Everything you were saying, but they're just saying it just up front. They're saying it more clearly. It's kind of funny. It's like you can sit there and explain, like, oh no, like the Israelis are low-key trying to genocide the Palestinians. You'll sit there and say, Seth, you're crazy. That's wrong. How could you say something like that about our Jewish brethren? And I'm like, okay, great. All right, well, look at Ben Gvir. He's literally saying there's no such thing as an innocent Palestinian, and he low-key thinks they're animals and they all gotta die because of October 7th. I mean, there's Smotrevere, their finance minister, had the same genocidal tone. Bibi Netanyahu referred to them as the Amalek, which in the Bible pretty much got genocided. So yeah, I mean, they say it out loud, guys. I mean, that's where we're getting it from. We're not imagining this stuff. We're just listening to them. We're being real about it. I mean, but then again, nobody really want to be real about, the guys of genocide or stuff going down like this.
ليش تسيبني طيب؟ وينهم ببشر ولا طلعت نار ولا في اي حاجه يا عمي. كلهم بموتوا ناس وكلهم بموتوا وكلهم بتيتموا اطفال وكلهم بتنيلوا. طب الى وقتيش هذا الكلام؟ طب انا يا اخويا وابويا وسامي واخويا كلنا مستجدين. طب لوقتيش؟ الى متى يا الله؟ طيب حلونا يا ناس.
يا سلامة قلبك يا الله، سلامة قلبك يا امي، سلامة قلبك يا الله. قومي يا سلام، قومي يا الله، ارجعي لي يا الله.
Over 1,000 innocent Palestinians dead since the ceasefire. So not even the ceasefire stops their bloodlust. But it is what it is, I guess. Sad, really.
Loving being the villains. And they don't care that they're seen as the villain worldwide now. They think they have a stranglehold over our government and our military, so they don't give a damn. Finance Minister Smotrich, after the lengthy security discussion last night, the state of Israel has no interest in joining the contained confrontation between Iran and the United States. The current situation is best one for us. He said it's ideal. I just plays the clip.
Yeah.
So you start the war.
Yeah, they drag us into the war. They pretty much get all caught up in it. And then when it comes to show up, Israel's like, oh, no, we're not going to do anything. We're going to let you guys do all the work. Honestly, this is just the best situation for us. So if you try to criticize this, we'll call you anti-Semitic. I mean, bro, Jesse Waters literally just sat in our face on Fox News and said that, oh, yeah, we should go in there and, yeah, let America take care of Hezbollah. And Israel, man, you can just sit back, man, sip a latte, man, have a pina colada, and let America do everything for you because we're good goy. It's like, bro. And he said it so proud. He said it with a smile on his face, man. That shit was crazy.
You start the war, And then now we're supposed to pay for it and die for it and finish it and fight the last American and fight the last taxpayer's dollar. Wow. Let's go to Hegseth, though. The avowed Christian Zionist who believes that we will be victorious as long as they get trillions of dollars for the new forever war. Here it is.
Something no president's been willing to do. 47 years, they build up a conventional capability like the North Koreans did. Remember, that's how North Korea made their way to a bomb. So much weaponry that no one was willing to stand up to them. President Trump was, and it continues to this day.
Let's be real, though. People have to make a decision because North Korea kind of had the same thing going on. They was able to hold South Korea hostage. Like, we attacked North Korea. Well, then, North Korea is going to go ballistic, and no pun intended, but start firing off ballistic missiles into South Korea, and they're going to get decimated. Because they're right there. That's why we didn't go in and invade North Korea. We pretty much just try to sanction them to death, and hopefully we can just stop them from getting a nuke that way. That failed. Now, if your guys are saying, oh, no, we should have just invaded North Korea and started a war with North Korea, I'm be real with you guys, that would have not turned out well, especially for South Korea. South Korea would not be as prosperous as it is today if we'd have committed to such an action.
Iran's been given every opportunity to negotiate, to show that they're reasonable on the Strait of Hormuz. But if they're going to shoot at commercial shipping, then we're going to hit them, as the president said, 10 times harder, which every night we're degrading them further and further. And the president has all the options necessary. If they want to talk, they can talk. Otherwise, they can deal with the War Department, and we're prepared to do that.
Oh, we're going to blockade it. Oh, we've closed the strait, because when they close it, Trump goes, we closed it. And I wonder how long it'll take Trump to say we blew up all their missiles. They don't have any missiles anymore. Trump was our champion. Trump was great in his first term comparatively. Went through hell to get back in. Was doing great the first 4 months. I hate having to sit here and call Trump out. But I'm not going to lie to you. And by the way, you already know 85% of Americans are against the war. Between 60 and 70% of Republican registered voters in Republican pollsters are saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, but they're not really being out loud about it because apparently MAGA be tripping out. They start trying to call you a Democrat or you're pro-Iranian. So it's kind of crazy. We're kind of silencing our own over here now. It's like, yeah, you could be a Republican and not support this war, but you can't be out loud about it like me, or you're going to get the same treatment as me. You're going to get called a Democrat, anti-American. People are going to start crashing out on you over Twitter talking about you support the IRGC, said you turned your back on America. When no, they're just mad that you pretty much just been right about how this war was going to play out. I know, right? It's tough out here. But, hey, it is what it is. You got to deal with the climate for what it is.
U.S. soldiers injured the last 2 weeks. And now Trump wants to say, oh, we're going to blow up Pickaxe Mountain that has centrifuges in it and then declare victory. Great. I wish you would, except the Iranians are going to keep the strait closed. You keep acting like they don't have any cards, Trump. You had all the cards till you stuck your pecker in the beehive, and ours along with yours. And now Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir and Beelzebub Smotrich are absolutely celebrating and think it's funny. And NATO's got the draft in. Most of the EU countries already have it for women as well. They're building all the weapons factories. They're attacking inside Russia, thousands of attacks a week. And Russia's saying, all right, we're getting ready to hit NATO countries. And man, a big old giant world war. You won't be worried about the banks collapsing then. You won't be worried about the Great Reset then. You won't be worried about flock cameras then. You won't be worried about that. Because it's going to be a full-on war, baby. When Johnny comes marching home again, hoorah, hoorah.
All right, Alex. Don't go crazy on us now. We know you like to do that.
At this press conference that just ended with the president of Lebanon, we're going to get Israel out of there and get your country back to you. And the Ben-Gvir says, the hell you are. We're at least keeping the South. I don't care what Trump says. We ain't leaving. Woo! All right. A lot of Christian Zionists are saying, Trump going to hell. You don't talk back to Mr. Gvir.
I mean, they're pretty much saying that Trump should stay out of Israel's business when it comes to Lebanon. It's like well, wait, what do you mean you want us to back out of Lebanon? Oy vey, what you talking about? We're trying to sit there and help the Lebanese people by bombing them and ethnically cleansing them. How dare you insult Israel in such a manner? It's like, oh God. So, and I mean, that's just the reality of it. It's like if Trump tries to tell Israel to back out of Lebanon, they're just going to spaz out. And they're not going to do what we say. And then, bro, worst case scenario, they just start resuming bombing in Lebanon.
You don't talk back to Mr. Netanyahu. That's like breaking a mirror, 7 years bad luck, or walking under a ladder. Why, the devil will bite you in the booty, Trump. The minute you don't do what they say, you're going to hell. But Trump's going to be good and do what he says when Israel tells him to. That's good. Yeah, the Lebanese president asked Trump to cross Netanyahu. Well, I mean, Trump said, don't bomb Lebanon, get out of Lebanon. And Netanyahu says, have you heard of jumping in the lake? Have you heard of pissing up a rope? Have you heard of going to hell? And that's why I said yesterday, I think I'm about to take the Israeli money and just call for total nuclear war. And the destruction of all life on the planet. I'm starting to like this. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. That's satire. But the Clippers took the clip out and said, Jones now has joined Israel. We told you. Okay. You guys love lying, which is fine. It's what you do.
Yeah, Joe Ken on?
There's a lot of mental illness.
Oh, no, never mind.
The truth is, there's a lot of evil on the planet, a lot of decadent people, a lot of special where he specifically asked him to get Israel.
Called it X, Y, and Z. I would hope to have been wrong. I hope that we wouldn't be here back when I resigned in March. However, even back in March, I didn't see a clear way for us to get out unless, like that last paragraph says, the president takes some really bold and decisive action. And every day that goes on and every tragedy that we suffer, taking more casualties, the harder it's going to be for the president to take that bold action. But at the same time, it's going to become more critical that he does so. I've been advocating, since I resigned, for him to leave immediately.
Right.
And I've been trying to do so even more in the last, 24, 48 hours, since we've tragically taken more casualties, and the Iranians have once again proven that they can probably make this much worse for us. I'm afraid that if the president continues to double down, which it sounds